Welcome to the deep dive, the analysis that cuts straight to the core of what you need to know. We are trading the desk for the dynamic, heading to a place globally renowned for its, well, staggering beauty, where the Atlantic and Indian Oceans perform this kind of majestic geographical ballet. We're going to the Mother City.
Cape Town. Yeah. It's a destination synonymous with drama, isn't it?
Yeah.
Its entire identity is anchored by that geological titan, Table Mountain, that huge flat-topped guardian. It doesn't just sit above the city, it sort of defines it. And when you look at the source material we've got today, it's pretty clear this is a city that definitely delivers on its postcard promise.
But does that promise align with, the price tag and the practicality? That's what we really need to figure out here. We filtered a complex stack of resources representing two really contrasting travel philosophies. On one side, you've got this highly sensible, budget-conscious traveler meticulously tracking every rand.
Right. Penny pinching, almost.
Exactly. And then on the other side, someone completely different. An experience-focused, maybe luxury-minded visitor chasing those high-value, high-impact moments.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is that we aren't just summarizing two viewpoints. We're looking at the friction, the contrast between these approaches. And that lets us build a really comprehensive view of Cape Town's true value proposition. So our mission for you, the listener, is to unpack whether Cape Town really lives up to all the hype. We're covering logistics, value, those essential experiences, and maybe some surprising food finds too.
Yeah, this is your shortcut to being genuinely, thoroughly well-informed about heading to Cape Town.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start right at the beginning. The moment your plane touches down, Cape Town International, CPT. Often the airport experience itself is the first big hurdle, isn't it? That psychological barrier of international travel. What did the sources say about that initial welcome?
Well, surprisingly, perhaps, they noted a really efficient experience. CPT, unlike some older, sprawling international hubs, it seems relatively modern and well-organized. Yeah, it feels designed to minimize those bottlenecks.
Yeah.
You seem to get through immigration, baggage claim pretty smoothly, which, after a long-haul flight, that's a massive win. It starts the trip off on a really positive note. No wasted energy, just waiting in queues.
That initial efficiency sounds great, but the real immersion, I guess, begins with the drive into the city itself. This must be where that huge visual impact hits you.
Oh, immediately. Exactly. The anticipation builds steadily, as the transfer pulls away from the airport, but then, bam, there it is, Table Mountain. It just looms. It seems to get bigger and more imposing with every kilometer you travel towards the city center.
Right.
It's not just a backdrop. It's this immediate jaw-dropping visual statement. It signals you've arrived somewhere, well, truly unique, where the urban environment is just completely tied to this raw, natural power.
And as you get closer, you start seeing the layout of the city, right? Cape Town often gets visually condensed to just the mountain and maybe the waterfront, but our sources really highlighted the large scale of the place and these distinct, beautiful coastal neighborhoods.
Absolutely. Think of it in layers. You've got the dense central business district, sure. But then you fan out into areas like Greenpoint, known for its sort of urban energy and the stadium. Then Sea Point, which is defined by that incredible promenade, like 3 miles long? Perfect for walking, running.
Okay.
And then, of course, the luxurious, almost iconic stretch of Camps Bay. White sand beaches, palm trees. It basically defines upscale coastal living there.
That geographical sprawl immediately tells me this isn't like a small, easily walkable European city center. Navigation needs some strategic planning, yeah.
It really does. I mean, while the local bus systems, particularly the MyCity network, they were highlighted as successful, pretty efficient options. Given the city's sheer size, you absolutely have to budget for travel time and expense.
Yeah.
Even if you're just using ride shares.
Right.
You can't just rely on foot traffic to get from, say, the V&A waterfront to the southern suburbs or even over to Camps Bay. That's a crucial logistical point, especially for that budget-conscious traveler we mentioned. Those rideshare costs, they can really add up if you're constantly moving across town.
And speaking of costs, the budget traveler sources gave us an immediate economic reality check, didn't they? They quickly realized that while South Africa and Cape Town specifically might offer incredible value in some areas, it's not consistently cheap for everything.
That's such a critical distinction.
Yeah.
While labor, local produce services think dining out, accommodation, that stuff can offer superior value compared to, say, North America or Western Europe.
Yeah.
Definitely. But the moment you look at imported goods, the whole dynamic flips.
Okay, like what kind of goods?
Well, think specialized hiking gear, maybe imported electronics, luxury branded items, certain wines and spirits even. These get hit hard by import taxes and exchange rates, so they can seem unexpectedly expensive.
Right.
This really forces the smart traveler to prioritize local consumption, local products, if they want genuine savings.
Okay, that makes sense. Moving beyond the rands and cents, then, let's talk about the actual atmosphere, the vibe. Because Cape Town seems to mix this raw nature with sophisticated commerce in a really unique way.
And nowhere is that more evident than the V&A waterfronts. It's just an absolute epicenter of activity, described as vibrant, safe, perpetually buzzing.
Sounds like the place to be.
It really acts as the city's main meeting point. You've got everything from street performers and luxury boutiques to genuinely world-class restaurants, and all of it framed perfectly against that backdrop of Table Mountain. It's a managed, curated visitor experience, yeah, but the sources just loved it for its energy.
But you mentioned the environment is raw, and that leads us to an element that literally shapes the city's atmosphere, the wind.
Ah, yes. You cannot talk about Cape Town without acknowledging the powerful, almost constant presence of the wind. Known locally as the Cape Doctor. It's just an intrinsic character of the city.
The Cape Doctor. Why that name?
Well, the story goes that it blows away the smog and pollution, clearing the air, hence doctoring the city. And it does make those mountain views exceptionally crisp, that's true. But the sources really emphasize its power is significant. We're talking persistent, sometimes gale force gusts that impact everything.
Like what?
Airport logistics, for one. But even simple things like trying to hold a menu outside a cafe or deciding whether to wear a hat. The Cape Doctor will definitely make its presence felt, and it's crucial for planning things like the cable car.
That's a great piece of vivid detail, but the city's character seems far more complex than just beautiful scenery and bricks winds. The source material was unanimous, wasn't it? That Cape Town is a place of sharp, almost inescapable contrasts.
It is fundamentally a city of layers. And resilience, too. You see these pockets of incredible natural beauty and obvious affluence. The expensive villas lining the cliffs in Clifton, right next door to historically marginalized areas. The legacy of apartheid is still visible in the geographical separation of communities, especially the townships. It's not really a destination that lets you just consume its beauty passively.
And that contrast sort of demands acknowledgement, doesn't it? You have the affluent southern suburbs like Constantia with their sprawling vineyards and grand Cape Dutch architecture. Yet the sources note that even the drive between the airport and the city forces visitors to confront these areas of profound socioeconomic disparity.
Exactly. This contrast forces visitors to engage with a complex history and the challenging present reality. It demands a kind of reflective tourism, I think.
Yeah.
However, the sources do counterbalance this pretty intense reality check with consistent praise for the local population.
Yes, that Rainbow Nation spirit seemed to really shine through in the accounts. Locals described as genuinely warm, welcoming, eager to share their culture.
Yeah, there's a tangible sense of resilience, people said. A forward-looking momentum that suggests immense pride in both the beauty and the complexity of their home. That human element, the hospitality, it seems to significantly elevate the visitor experience beyond just pure sightseeing.
Okay, so to quickly recap Section 1 for our listeners, expect stunning visual beauty, like immediately. Plan to navigate a large city strategically. Be aware that costs vary focus on local value. Prepare for the wind. And finally, be ready to engage with a population that offers immense warmth, even while living amidst visible historical and socioeconomic complexities. That really sets the stage for the essential experiences, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Where do we dive in first?
Right. If we're maximizing time and giving that efficient shortcut we promised, we need the trifecta, the 3 non-negotiable experiences that really define a trip to Cape Town. Where do we begin? It has to be the mountain, doesn't it?
It has to be. We begin, logically, with the geographical imperative, Table Mountain. It is absolutely non-negotiable. I mean, to miss the mountain.
Yeah.
It's like missing the heart of the city's entire experience.
Okay, but beyond just being a big rock, what makes actually getting to the summit so crucial? What's the payoff?
The significance lies in that unparalleled 360-degree panorama. Up there, you are literally looking down onto the entire cityscape, the dramatic coastline stretching below you, the neighboring peaks of Lion's Head and Signal Hill. And you can see the poignant sight of Robben Island way out in the bay.
Wow.
But what many people maybe overlook is the mountain's unique biodiversity. The sources really highlighted this. The summit is home to a protected fynbos ecosystem, this kind of shrubland, found absolutely nowhere else on Earth. So it makes it a unique natural experience alongside just the view.
Okay, let's get practical then. For those opting for the quick route, the cable car, What are the logistics our listeners need to know? This sounds like something you need to plan.
Logistical preparedness is paramount here.
Yeah.
Firstly, you must book tickets online and well in advance. This saves significant queue time, especially during peak season. It can get really busy. Secondly, and maybe even more importantly, check the weather obsessively. We talked about the Cape Doctor, right? If the wind speeds are too high, the cable car closes. Sometimes without a huge amount of warning, it's just mechanically impossible and unsafe to run it in a strong gale.
Okay, good heads up. And what's the cost for that spectacular aerial journey?
Return tickets currently run approximately 400 to 500 ZAR. When we translate that, it's about 18, 22, maybe 25, 30 US dollars.
Mm.
Now, the budget traveler might initially balk at that price for what seems like a short ride. However, when you compare the value of that unique experience, the floor of the cable car actually rotates, giving you instant 360 views on the way up.
Cool.
Yeah, and then you've got potentially hours exploring the protected ecosystem at the summit. The sources generally agreed the price point offers pretty superior value compared to similar high-level city viewing platforms globally. It's an investment in a memory, really.
Okay. Now, for the traveler who wants to earn those views, the fitness fanatic, or maybe the dedicated budgeter there, is the famous or maybe infamous Platiclip Gorge hike.
Ah, Platiclip Gorge, yes. It's the most direct and certainly the most challenging popular road up the mountain. It's essentially a very steep, almost vertical climb. Defined by large rock steps and scrambly sections, it can take anywhere from, say, 2 to 3 hours, depending entirely on your physical condition. This is definitely not a casual Sunday stroll.
Right. And the practical warning here needs to be pretty severe, doesn't it?
Yeah,
What did the sources stress?
absolutely. The experienced hikers in our sources really emphasize this route is exposed, it can be slippery, it's demanding. The crucial warning is about respecting the mountain's terrain. You must carry sufficient water, probably more than you think you need.
Okay.
Wear proper hiking boots, definitely, for grip, and allocate enough time to get down well before sunset. The sources explicitly warn that people attempting this like flip-flops or starting too late in the day, they often end up needing assistance from mountain rescue. It's free, yes, but the cost of preparation is high and the commitment is intense. You need to be ready for it.
Okay. Table Mountain sets the vertical baseline. Our second non-negotiable experience takes us from that exhilaration to something quite different, a sobering historical reality. Robben Island.
This is such a vital experience, a pilgrimage, really necessary for anyone wanting to understand the sociopolitical context of South Africa. It's profoundly moving because it forces you to confront the nation's complex, often brutal history under apartheid. And the deep impact comes primarily from the guides themselves.
And the guides have a unique position of authority, right? That's key.
It is absolutely key. The tours are led by former political prisoners who actually served time on the island. Their firsthand narration as you walk the grounds, as you see Nelson Mandela's tiny cell, a space maybe 4.5 square meters, it's incredibly small.
Wow.
That transforms the experience from just a historical lecture into this deeply personal, impactful lesson in endurance, courage, and institutional injustice. It's incredibly powerful.
What are the necessary logistical details for this pivotal tour? How does it work?
Well, the entire trip is quite substantial. It takes about 3.5 to 4 hours, all in. That includes the ferry journey from the V&A waterfront. And the sources noted that the ferry ride itself is kind of part of the experience. It offers this unique perspective of the city receding from view, which really emphasizes the island's isolation.
Okay. And cost and booking strategy sounds like another one to plan ahead.
Definitely. The cost is around 600 ZA currently. However, the critical logistical takeaway, and we really can't stress this enough, is that tickets sell out fast, often weeks, even months in advance, especially in peak season. Capacity is limited by the number of ferries and the government schedule. You absolutely must book well ahead of time via the official Robben Island Museum website.
Got it. Book early.
And another critical tip for the listener, that sea crossing can be notably choppy. The Atlantic can kick up. So if you're prone to motion sickness, definitely take preventative measures beforehand. Don't let that spoil the experience.
Okay, solid advice. So we have the vertical ambition of Table Mountain, the horizontal isolation and history of Robben Island. To complete this essential trifecta, we need to talk about getting out onto the open road, embracing the coastline, the full Cape Peninsula Drive.
Yes, this is the definitive scenic route, a non-negotiable full-day commitment, really, designed to showcase the immense natural beauty of the Western Cape. It's just this incredible sequence of dramatic cliffs, winding roads, pristine beaches. It truly defines that geographical meeting of elements.
Before we reach Cape Point itself, the famous endpoint, we have to talk about the The adorable waddling obstacle, Boulders Beach? Penguins?
Boulders
Uh,
Beach, yeah, situated near Simonstown, it hosts this thriving colony of endangered African penguins. It's a really unique wildlife encounter where you observe these small, distinctive birds. They're known for their donkey-like braying sound, actually.
Really?
Yeah. You watch them from designated boardwalks, which ensures their protection. The sources were utterly charmed by their antics, their waddling cuteness, although one source did frame the experience a bit wryly as slightly overpriced penguins due to the cost.
Okay, let's analyze that cost versus value then. What is the entry fee? And is that potentially high price justified?
The entry fee is currently around 176 ZAR. Now, while that might seem high just for beach entry, the sources did note, and this is important, that this fee is directly channeled into conservation efforts to protect this vulnerable species.
Ah,
Because
okay.
the expense feels more like a necessary contribution to wildlife preservation rather than just a simple tourist tax. And for most travelers, honestly, the priceless sight of these little guys waddling around and nesting seems to totally justify the cost.
Fair enough. Once you've secured your penguin photos and videos, the drive continues to the climax of the route, Cape Point.
That's the final destination, yeah. It's within the Table Mountain National Park, so it requires its own entry fee, around 376 ZAR. The views from the lighthouse at the summit are just breathtaking, absolutely spectacular. Now, while geographers might argue that the precise meeting point of the two oceans is technically a bit further east, at Cape Agulhas,
Ray, I've heard that.
standing there at Cape Point provides that iconic, undeniable feeling of being at the very southwestern tip of the continent, watching the dramatic convergence of marine currents. It feels like the edge of the world.
So for those planning this drive, what are the logistical options? How do you actually do it?
You essentially have three main choices. The self-drive option offers the most freedom, obviously. It allows you to stop spontaneously at places like the colorful beach huts at Muizenberg or the quirky little fishing village of Calk Bay for lunch. Highly recommended.
Okay.
However, it does mean navigating some narrow, winding roads and dealing with parking, which can be tricky in popular spots. Alternatively, you can join an organized tour bus. That ensures efficiency, and you get commentary, context,
Right, less hassle.
less hassle, yeah. Or you could potentially utilize the hop-on, hop-off bus system for certain sections, though that requires really strict time management if you want to complete the entire peninsula route in just one day. It might be pushing it.
Excellent. Okay, Table Mountain, views or climb, Robben Island, history and poignancy, and the Peninsula Drive, nature, coastline penguins. That really feels like the structural backbone of any successful Cape Town trip.
Spot on. That's your essential framework right there.
Okay.
Okay, now we shift gears a bit. From sites and history to something that profoundly influences Cape Town's value and its culture. The food scene. This is actually a key measure of the city's worth, I think.
Yeah, the sources consistently hailed Cape Town as a proper culinary powerhouse. It's not just, good food. It's described as this dynamic, globally influenced stage, boasting flavors heavily influenced by its maritime location, obviously, but also its unique Cape Malay heritage.
And the key realization here for the listener, especially comparing it globally, is the potential for high-value luxury dining. You can access genuinely world-class, sophisticated cuisine, the quality, the service, the ambiance for, honestly, a fraction of what you'd pay in cities like London, Paris, or New York.
Okay, let's dive into that luxury side first then. It starts naturally with the ocean, right? What defines the seafood scene there?
Oh, the seafood is just unparalleled. And freshness and variety, we were talking about massive, succulent prawns, perfectly prepared yellowfin tuna, often just seared, fresh oysters readily available almost everywhere.
Oysters.
Yeah, and unique local catches like kinklip that's a firm, white, really delectable fish, highly prized in South Africa. And also snook, which is an oily, quite distinct local delicacy, often smoked or grilled over coals, braid. If you are a seafood aficionado, your money goes incredibly far here. The quality is amazing.
And that luxury experience is also intrinsically linked to those famous surrounding wine estates, isn't it?
Absolutely. The proximity to the Cape, Winelands, Stellenbosch, Franschhoek, Karl, means access to phenomenal day trips is just effortless. And these estates offer far more than just, swirling and spitting wine.
Right.
They provide indulgent, often farm-to-table cuisine, frequently paired with exceptional South African wines naturally, and all set within this breathtaking scenery, rolling vineyards, mountains, beautiful Cape Dutch architecture. It's a whole package.
Could you maybe break down the specific character of those three major wine regions for us? Are they different?
They do have distinct personalities, yeah. Stellenbosch is probably the most famous, the oldest, known for its history and its bold Cabernet Sauvignon and Pinotage varietals.
Hmm.
Pinotage being South Africa's unique grape. It's the region for those historical, grand, expansive estates.
Okay.
Franschhoek, which translates to French Corner, has this Huguenot legacy. And that's reflected in its focus on elegant fine dining and maybe more boutique vineyards. Sources absolutely raved about the value of tasting menus here, often enjoyed while overlooking these pristine valley vistas. It's very refined.
Sounds lovely. And Parle.
Parle is known more for its massive scale and diversity. It has some huge producers, but also excellent brandy roads, which is something different. Traveling between them is relatively easy, but you really need to commit a full day to do the tasting and dining justice. You don't want to rush it.
Okay, that sets the bar pretty high for luxury. But let's balance the perspective now. The budget traveler also eats incredibly well in Cape Town, according to the sources.
Uh-huh.
We have to talk about the cultural and budget-friendly staples, and that surely starts with the undisputed king, the Gatsby.
The Gatsby, yes. It is a uniquely Capetonian invention, a symbol of affordable, massive consumption, and an absolute must-do for any cultural foodie checklist. I mean, its description alone is legendary. It's basically a foot-long roll, similar in size maybe to a French baguette,
Mhm.
sliced open and just absolutely stuffed to capacity.
Yeah, break it down. What are the essential components that make up this magnificent culinary monstrosity?
It's defined by layers of pure, glorious excess. You start with a base of crispy chips, French fries.
Hmm.
Then you add polony, which is a South African style of bologna, often layers of melted cheese, generous lashings of sauce, usually some kind of tangy mayo or peri-peri, a char that's a spicy pickled vegetable relish that adds vital acidity and kick.
Wow. Okay, keep going.
And then your choice of protein.
Mm.
This varies, but common ones are fried fish, masala steak, calamari, or even simple Vienna sausages, all crammed in there.
It sounds like a delicious, chaotic exercise in structural engineering. How do you even eat it?
Carefully. It is pure budget brilliance, though. A half Gatsby, which costs approximately 80 ZAR, was that maybe £3.50 or $4.50,
Mm.
is frequently noted to be substantial enough to comfortably feed two hungry people, maybe even three.
Incredible value.
It is absolute proof that you do not need a fancy restaurant to experience a true, defining taste of Cape Town life. It's street food elevated to an art form, kind of.
Okay, beyond the mighty Gatsby, we have to recognize the unique cultural cuisine that defines areas like the vibrantly colored Bo-Kaap district. This is the heartland of Cape Malay cuisine, right?
Absolutely. And the history behind Cape Malay cuisine is as rich and complex as the flavors themselves. It originated with the slaves brought by the Dutch East India Company, mainly from Indonesian and Malaysian colonies, centuries ago.
Right.
They brought with them their incredible knowledge of aromatic spices, cinnamon, cardamom, turmeric, ginger, cloves, which they then brilliantly integrated with local South African ingredients and European influences. This created this distinct culinary profile that beautifully balances sweet, sour, and savory notes. It's unique.
Can you give us a flavor profile of the key dishes? What should people look out for?
Well, the quintessential example has to be bogi. It's this wonderful sweet and savory baked dish. It features spiced minced meat, usually lamb or beef, often with dried fruit like apricots mixed in, and it's topped with a creamy, rich custard or egg topping. It's usually served with yellow rice, rice cooked with turmeric, and chutney. It's ultimate comfort food that really tells a story of history and fusion.
Sounds amazing.
It is. You also find wonderfully fragrant curries, often utilizing slow-cooked lamb or chicken. They're generally less fiery than, say, Indian curries, but incredibly rich in complex aromatic spices. Exploring the little markets and smaller eateries in the Bo-Kaap itself is definitely the best way to dive headfirst into this incredible culinary heritage.
And finally, for more casual eating and sampling, the food markets seem to offer a really dynamic alternative to formal dining.
Oh, definitely. The Neighbor Goods Market at the Old Biscuit Mill in Woodstock was highlighted as the definitive Saturday morning destination. Be warned, it gets immensely popular, really crowded, but it is totally worth the sensory overload.
What kind of things do you find there?
It's a real hub for artisan food producers. You can sample literally everything from specialty coffees and gourmet burgers to international street food, amazing local artisan cheeses, craft beers, pastries, you name it. It's a fantastic showcase of the city's contemporary culinary creativity and energy.
Sounds great.
And overall, just the general availability of quality local coffee everywhere, affordable local beers like Castle Lager, and great value breakfasts means that pretty much every price point is covered. It really confirms Cape Town as a definitive foodie destination, whether you're splashing out or watching the pennies.
Okay, we've covered the whole spectrum, haven't we? From logistics and history right through to gastronomy. Now for the final synthesis. Who fundamentally is Cape Town actually for?
The consensus from all the sources was pretty firm on this. Cape Town is almost universally appealing. It's for the adventure seeker. You can hike, surf, paraglide, even try shark cage diving if you're brave enough.
Hmm.
It's definitely for history buffs, drawn to Robben Island and the complex layers of the past. It's clearly for foodies seeking world-class dining at surprisingly good value prices or unique local eats. And of course, it's for beach lovers and culture vultures. The sheer diversity of high-quality experiences available ensures that really, regardless of your specific interests, the city is likely to deliver a memorable itinerary.
But this expansive, dynamic environment brings us inevitably to the essential caveat, the necessary practical advice regarding safety and awareness. This came up in the sources too.
It did, and it's crucial to address it honestly. While the major tourist areas, the waterfront, Camps Bay, the immediate vicinity of the big attractions are generally well policed and feel safe. The reality is that Cape Town is a city of visible inequalities, and vigilance is, frankly, non-negotiable. Visitors absolutely must be street smart at all times.
Can we break down the specific advice gleaned from the sources? What does street smart mean in practice there?
It's mostly the standard, sensible travel advice, but perhaps heightened a little. Definitely do not flash expensive valuables, jewelry, high-end cameras, latest smartphones openly in public.
Right.
Always be acutely aware of your immediate surroundings, who's around you. And perhaps most importantly, avoid walking alone after dark, particularly in the central business district or less populated areas. Use reputable ride shares or organized transport at night. The message really is, enjoy the city, embrace it, but respect its complexities by practicing common sense and maintaining that necessary awareness. It's about being sensible, not scared.
Okay. That sets realistic expectations without causing unnecessary alarm. Now let's revisit that central dynamic of our sources, the budget spectrum. How can our listeners actually budget for this kind of deep dive experience?
Yeah, the sources establish three pretty clear tiers of spending, which really highlights Cape Town's accessibility across different income levels.
Okay, starting at the top, the luxury budget. What does that look like?
So if you're looking for top-tier comfort, think boutique hotel accommodation, maybe multiple high-end tasting menus, spa treatments, perhaps private tours out to the winelands. You should probably budget comfortably between 100, 150, or say 120, 180 US dollars per person per day.
Okay.
That kind of budget guarantees a pretty seamless, indulgent, high-end experience that, crucially, still offers phenomenal value compared to what you'd pay for similar luxury in other major global cities.
Got it. What about the middle ground, the mid-range budget?
This is where you're balancing comfort and experience. Maybe you opt for quality guest houses or well-rated mid-range hotels. You enjoy perhaps one special fine dining meal, balanced with several excellent local dinners. You manage transport using a mix of ride shares and maybe the efficient public transit, like the MyCity bus.
And the cost for that?
You're probably looking at roughly 70, 100 pounds per day, or maybe 85, 120 US. This allows you to comfortably afford all those non-negotiable experiences we talked about without feeling overly extravagant. It's a popular sweet spot.
Right. And finally, for the truly budget-conscious traveler, the backpacker, the student, someone who wants to maximize their stay while minimizing expenditure. Is it doable?
Absolutely doable.
Yeah.
By utilizing hostels or budget guest houses, focusing on amazing market food and the glorious Gatsby, relying heavily on public transport and using ride shares only for strategic longer journeys, and leveraging all the free activities like walking the Sea Point Promenade, hiking Lion's Head, not Table Mountain hike maybe, exploring the Bocap district by foot, a traveler could certainly have a fantastic, truly memorable trip on 40, 50 a day, maybe 50, 60 US. The city really rewards the resourcefulness of the budget traveler quite generously. There's loads to do that doesn't cost much.
That flexibility across the budget spectrum is a tremendous point in Cape Town's favor, isn't it? So when we synthesize all these factors, the efficient logistics, the profound historical sites, the absolutely unparalleled natural beauty, and the high-value food scene, what is our final verdict? Is the Mother City truly worth the hype?
The sources were completely unanimous on this. Yes, Cape Town is absolutely worth it. It offers this rare, difficult-to-match combination. Stunning, raw, natural landscapes, deeply intertwined with profound historical and cultural significance, all wrapped up in this vibrant, forward-looking culture and supported by an exceptional culinary scene. It challenges its visitors, yes, but it delights them with its beauty, and it leaves this profound, strong impression that seems to last long after you leave.
Yeah, it sounds like a city that genuinely exceeded every expectation the sources cited. It's breathtaking, it's welcoming, and it provides this incredible array of experiences that make it far more than just a typical vacation destination. It feels like somewhere you experience rather than just visit.
So we've ascended the vertical challenge of Table Mountain, whether by cable car or sheer grit. We've absorbed the intense, vital history during that 4-hour journey out to Robben Island. We've traveled the dramatic curves and coastal beauty of the Cape Peninsula, dodging penguins along the way.
And we navigated the culinary landscape, didn't we? Moving effortlessly from maybe exquisitely fresh oysters overlooking a vineyard in Franschhoek all the way down to the glorious, messy, utterly satisfying chaos of a half Gatsby shared on a street corner.
Exactly. And through that journey, I think we uncovered the real synthesis of Cape Town. It's this magnificent natural entity. Its beauty is undeniable, but it's inextricably intertwined with these visible socioeconomic and historical complexities. You can't separate them.
Yeah, this is where the true learning seems to happen, beyond just ticking boxes. We saw dramatically different experiences coexisting almost side by side. The sheer luxury of a high-value wine tasting menu overlooking a perfect mountain vineyard, right next to the sobering vital reality of Nelson Mandela's tiny cell, and the knowledge that the geographical scars of apartheid are still visible in the city's layout today.
It's a city that seems to demand more than just casual tourism, doesn't it? It almost demands critical thought and genuine engagement from its visitors.
Which brings us neatly to our final provocative thought for you, the listener. Given this dramatic range of experiences we've discussed, this blending of profound, captivating beauty and intense historical scrutiny, how does your personal travel approach evolve when a destination challenges you not just to admire its landscapes, but simultaneously demands critical thought regarding its deep, complex, and sometimes difficult history?
What does it truly mean to move beyond being just a tourist and become a truly informed, respectful visitor in a city defined by such visible and powerful contrasts? How do you navigate that ethically and meaningfully?
Something to definitely mull over as you perhaps start planning your ticket and, maybe more importantly, your mental preparation for visiting the mother city.
Indeed, a lot to think about.
Hmm.
Until the next deep dive.